Hi, I'm Julie Keir. As well as having been a pastor for the last 27 years, for the last 10 years I've worked as a psychotherapist working in the NHS, in the voluntary sector, and more currently working in a university student mental health setting. With the current statistics telling us that 1 in 4 of us could have a common mental health issue in our lifetime, such as anxiety or depression, and probably a more key statistic that 1 in 6 of us in the last week might have experienced those things, it's really important that we become more savvy on how we manage our mental health. Many of us look after our cars, we try and look after our physical health, but our mental health is so important, and that's what I'm passionate about. So we're talking about ethics around identity, and in the work I do, I find that issues around identity have many faces, many guises. The first one of those is, I think, around us finding our identity in our body image, in our appearance, finding our self-worth and value in the way we look. That could be the clothes we wear, the weight we want to be, the accessories we wear, but basically finding our identity in our outward appearance. The second would be around performance. Many of us try and find our value or identity in our success. Maybe being the best parent, being the best student, getting the highest grades at university or school or college, or maybe being the best in our workplace, just having to be the best to find our identity in success and in good performance. The third would be finding our identity in our position or title. For many of us, particularly in church life, we can find a sense of our value and self-worth in the title we have or the position that we are given in the life of the church or in your workplace or family. What becomes problematic when we find our identity in external factors is actually we have little control over them. So say, for example, your identity is found in how you look, and then you have an accident, you can't exercise, maybe you grow old and you gain weight. These things are out of our control. How about if our success is in our performance as a parent, our kids mess up and we feel like we failed, or maybe you lose your job and become unemployed. And what about your position or your title? What about if someone else gets given your position and all of a sudden you feel that sense of failure? And sometimes it can feel like we're crumbling inside when the things we found our identity in, they're like scaffolding around our life, suddenly fall down. And this is where we can develop things like anxiety, where we're striving to have to be the best, we're striving to look the best or keep that position. Before we know it, we're struggling in our physical symptoms of anxiety, or maybe we become depressed because we feel like we failed in one of these areas. So, if you've heard what I've said today and you're thinking, well, what do I do about it? Well, the first thing I'd encourage you to do, maybe today or this week, is to sit down with a piece of paper and ask yourself the question, where am I currently finding my identity? And be honest with yourself as you do that. The second thing I'd encourage you to do is to sit with God and say, God, who do you say that I am? What does your word say about where my identity lies? And a scripture that really speaks into this is 1 John 3 verse 1, where it says, how great is the love that the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God, and that is what we are. And I'd encourage you to sit with that scripture, and not just to read it and know it up here, but to really know it in here, and to allow it to sink in, allow it to remove the scaffolding that's around your life and to become your foundation. And then when external things happen out of our control, we're not wobbled because we know where our foundation and where our identity lies in who God says we are.